Hello, 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 everybody. So, the daily quote for today is: the best way to avenge yourself is to not become as they are. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, Book 6.6. So, a little tidbit about Meditations for those of you who have not read it. Meditations is a journal. It was never intended to be read by any of us. We are peering into the mind of a man who very much like us was struggling but had no one to talk to. I'll link down below a very good lecture you can find on YouTube to do with Marcus Aurelius if you're interested in learning more about him before I make my video, which will be some time from now, as we have a few other notable Stoics to talk about before we get to Marcus. That being said, this is pretty self-explanatory, I think. Um, the best way to avenge yourself is to not become as they are. So when someone does wrong to you, what some people may perceive as a wrong, it's it's important to remember not to stoop to their level, not to, you know, tarnish your character by allowing them to make you act the way they do. So, someone, whatever it may be, they're bullying you, don't bully them back. Or some jerk cuts you off on the road, don't, get mad and flip them off and say, fuck you, dude. No, don't do that. Don't stoop to his level. Just say, it is what it is. Let it go. You know, you will come out the bigger person if you don't stoop to their level. Um, Marcus, I'm sure Marcus had to remind himself of this as he was the emperor of Rome, and had to fight against the Germanic people uh, that were threatening the Roman Empire at the time, and he had to deal with soldiers and people undermining him at every step of the way. I'm sure he had to deal with that, and it's very important to make sure that when someone does wrong to you, because again, they don't really do you a wrong, they do themselves a wrong because they're tarnishing their own character, their soul. They're affecting themselves, not you. Only person that can affect you is you. uh there's actually some Epictetus stuff we can talk about on that level, but that's for another day. It's important, this quote in particular, it's in book 6. It's the 6th entry in book 6, and he's reminding himself, yeah, they did you wrong, don't don't stoop to their level. And this could even, so Marcus had an attempted coup by one of his good friends. This could even have been about him. It could have been about, because when Marcus's friend committed the coup against him, he wrote in. They said, "Not an ounce of blood will be spilt over this civil war." These were what Marcus said, and he wrote in, "No one died." They were able to rectify the situation, and before he had a chance to decree anything, his friend, the general who tried to kill him, ended up getting beheaded. And the assassins brought the head to Marcus, thinking that it was going to, make him happy and that he was going to be proud of them for doing it and reward them. But instead, he cried. He didn't want to see his friend's head. He wanted to, he wanted to make amends, and he couldn't now because his friend was dead. And so it's a heartwarming story to know that, even though his friend had done what a lot of people would have seen as a terrible injustice, he simply saw someone misguided and, who lost their way, and he was more than happy to be that person that forgave them and welcomed them back with open arms. So there's not the slightest bit of hypocrisy when reading Meditations, and I love that, because if you know anything about Marcus Aurelius, if you learn anything, he becomes, even in the eyes of Christians who at that time were at odds with the Roman Empire, he was still considered a great man. And it so when he says this, he's not saying it and like then holding it grudge against somebody. He's reminding himself that he doesn't need to become like the people who have committed an injustice against him, a perceived injustice. And so, yeah, that's the daily quote for the day. I hope, it resonates for some people. I hope seeing this will allow you to, have that forgiveness for somebody and realize that, yeah, they may have harmed you, they may have done something. And again, it's all in the way you look at it. Your ex-wife didn't harm you, she freed you up to be someone better. Or, there's a lesson to be learned everywhere. So don't think somebody did you wrong, just think this is an opportunity for me to be better. And if it was something bad or something, like that, don't seek revenge. Don't try to avenge yourself. Just let it go. Be the bigger person and move on. That's what really matters at the end of the day. So take this, think about it, meditate on it, chew it up a little bit, really spend some time thinking about this one. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day.